In Japanese folklore, yokai are the spirits, demons, and monsters that haunt our world, taking the form of plants, animals, objects, humans, or natural phenomenon. These yokai usually possess spiritual or supernatural abilities. Oni is a yokai taking the form of an ogre or troll, with sharp claws, wild hair, and horns growing from their heads. They can be red, blue, white, or many other colors, while they are known to wear loincloths and carry clubs. Oni means to hide or conceal, as they are mischievous creatures. Some Japanese buildings feature intricate roof tiles bearing the face of an oni. These tiles are called onigawara, which are thought to ward away bad luck, much like gargoyles in other parts of the world. Though in the end, yokai may be a product of the imagination, there once lived an evil that, like the yokai, came in many shapes and forms, a monster that haunted Japan from 1984 to 1985, and was very real. This is the monster with 21 faces. Last time, an operation spilling over into neighboring Shiga Prefecture led to the escape of several major suspects. The discovery of a stolen car sends investigators on a forensic hunt for the monster. Morinaga affiliate Wakanami receives an extortion letter as famed Japanese writer Koan Kawachi offers to pay the gang to stop before Christmas. The 1,000 yen pack by Morinaga is a hit and helps them to maintain customer loyalty, while in the background they are once again threatened for 200 million yen. The Hokkaido tape captured a radio conversation about the upcoming target, Fujiya, as police released the media silence agreement surrounding the House Foods case. Episode 7, Number 1 Evil. Listener discretion is advised. On December 11, 1984, at 9:11 p.m., 11 minutes after promised, a phone call comes into the home of Fujiya labor manager Kaijin Nijūichi. Tajiri answers the phone with police listening in, only to hear the muffled, inaudible voice of the monster. No further calls come in that evening. Earlier that day, on December 11th, a sketch of the station wagon driver from November 14th is released by police. On the 15th of December, a letter arrives at Kaijin Nijūichi's home.
On December 24th, you will throw 20 million yen in cash from the rooftop of the Hanshin department store in Umeda, 1 Shome, Kita, Osaka City, at 2 o'clock.
Fujiya consulted with the police and decided to ignore the request. Read in part, an article published on December 15, 1984, by the Galveston Daily News reads, Headline: Poison plotter frustrate Japanese police. Kobe, Japan. AP. The case known in Japan as the Man with 21 Faces is a sinister reprise of the 1982 Tylenol affair in the United States, in which 7 people died from cyanide placed in bottles of the pain-killing drug. No one is known to have actually been poisoned in Japan, but the motive, extortion, is the same. It also has proved as puzzling for the authorities here as was the Tylenol case, which remains unresolved. The case, however, has enthralled the Japanese public, and especially experts on criminal behavior. Quote, they have attracted the most number of policemen, as much as a fifth of the country's entire police force. They are the first ones to fully utilize the effects of mass media, making a fool out of police for repeated blunders, Hiroaki Iwai, professor of criminology at Toyo University, said in an interview. Some theorists say the gang's careful planning and apparent grasp of police operations suggests radical leftists. Others envision ties to the violence-prone Yakuza or Japanese mafia, and still others speculate that the culprits are disgruntled former employees of the companies. December 17th, 1984. A letter to Shikata, head of the Osaka Prefectural Police, is sent to Mainichi, Yomiuri, Sankei, and Asahi newspapers.
To Shikata, we knew from before that you were fools. But why did you show our secret letter? Now everyone knows we're fans of the police. Are you so scared of us? We understand your feelings. You thought no one would believe the police after we sent the letter to mass media. You don't need to worry about that. No one believes the police anyway. I'll tell you something good. On the 9th of December, we took 100 million from the company in Hyogo Prefecture. We won't use this money for a month. If you find us before the 15th of January, you'll get all the money. It is made so that you don't know which company it is, even if you get the money. Enjoy your New Year's Eve. It'll get busy after the 15th of January. We have to give New Year's money to the house foods. Someone from our group says that we should throw out dynamite from the helicopter, but we promised House to contact them again. We're thinking of either destroying House or taking the money. What are those Morinaga fools thinking? When we said 7-year-old girl, we of course thought of Shichigo-san. We thought about forgiving Morinaga if they give us 200 million and if they rehire the part-time ladies. Neither Morinaga or police are romantic. We have to attack Morinaga again. In the Rito case, the mass media revealed the police's true intentions. Mass media told the police that suspects won't use the same technique. You shouldn't scold the police that much. We knew the police's intentions from the start. We will do Oniko in Osaka with Takatori. Mass media can't say such self-important things. They had agreement on coverage, but what is this? In Japan, media can say anything. But this became a suicide. Who are we? Sometimes we are extremists. Sometimes we are car racers. Sometimes we are truck drivers. Our true identity is Monster with 21 faces.
Postmarked in Takatsuki, Osaka, 2 days prior between 8 a.m. and noon. The line, quote, "We have to give New Year's money to house foods," refers to Otodashima, a Japanese tradition of giving money to children on the New Year's. The line, "When we said 7-year-old girl, we of course thought about Shishigo-san," refers to a traditional rite of passage and festival day in Japan. It is for 3 and 7-year-old girls and 5-year-old boys and is held annually on November 15th to celebrate the growth and well-being of young children. Referred to in the letter as Takatori, the writer means Hirofumi Takatori of the Osaka Prefectural Police. In the quote, "We will do Oniko in Osaka with Takatori," the writer likely meant Onigoko, a Japanese children's game of tag, where the player who is it is called the Oni, like the troll-type yokai. With that, the line reads, "We will play tag in Osaka with Takatori." The following day, on December 18th, another letter arrives at the Tokyo headquarters of Mainichi, Yomiuri, Sankai, and Asahi newspapers.
To Suzuki of the National Police Agency. Sawaji of the National Police Agency killed people easily. We'll get killed when we get caught, right? This case won't get adapted by comic book if we get a death sentence. But the police department isn't necessarily a scary place. It's a democratic police that people love. We like you. We made a new hiding place, so we'll greet you. Saitama's police look like they have time, so we're giving you a case. We thought of calling Suzuki, but one of us said he's a fool, so we didn't. We're kind. Other police departments also look like they're free. On the 9th of December, we took 100 million. Place of exchange was Yashiro Interchange. Do your best, Hyogo Police. There's an empty can on the west side of the road 100 meters from the white flag. The upper part of the can is crushed. Shiga Police, you have no work, do you? Kick the can and play with it. We took the paper out. We'll tell you our hiding place, Osaka Police and National Police Agency. It's in Setsu, Nishinomiya, Ibaraki, Moriguchi, Niyagawa, Fukushima, Nagoya, Ikebukuro, Gifu, Shiga, Kyoto South, Tokaido, Amagasaki, and Saitama. In 2 of these cities, Gifu police don't play around. There was a fingerprint of the employee at Yanagin's store on the box we left, right? Aichi Prefecture's dolphin-like fish will disappear if you don't start being productive. Who are we? Sometimes we are KCIA agents. Sometimes we are guardmen. Sometimes we are water inspectors. Sometimes we are pro boxers. Sometimes we are big company agents. Sometimes we are journalists. But our true identity is Monster with 21 faces.
Postmarked in Shitaya, Tokyo, the day prior between noon and 6 p.m. A 60-yen stamp was affixed to the envelope. Named in the letter are Kazuo Sawaji, a Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department officer accused of murder, and Sadatoshi Suzuki of the National Police Agency. In the line, Aichi Prefecture's dolphin-like fish will disappear if you don't start being productive. Dolphin-like fish is a decoration traditionally used to decorate the roof ridge of Japanese castles and is famous in Aichi. Also mentioned in this letter is the KCIA, which is the Korean Central Intelligence Agency. Read in part, an article published on December 23, 1984, by the Paris News, is a copy of the article from December 15th. It adds, however, because the gang's moves have come only on weekends, police deployed special weekend patrols in stores, using 50,000 police officers each time. More than 1 million people have dialed special numbers set up by police to offer information, but there have been no arrests, and authorities are frustrated, embarrassed, and increasingly closed-mouthed. Quote, "Obviously, we're not going to tell you what leads we're following," said one detective. Quote, "And we're not answering the abuses in those letters. The only thing is that we must catch these guys, and we will." At the time, the police were carrying out an investigation that Japanese newspapers agreed not to disclose, but the police effort failed, and the newspapers reported on December 10th that yet another company, the House Food Industrial Company, had become a target of the extortionists. The report said that in November, the, quote, "man with 21 faces," tried to extort 100 million yen, or $400,000, from the Osaka area firm as the price for not poisoning its products, and sent a package of poisoned curry to its offices to back up the threat. Company officials notified police who, according to a National Police Agency spokesman, began the secret investigation. The news reports said it nearly netted a suspect during a fake ransom delivery November 14th, but the man, driving a stolen auto, eluded officers in a 2-mile chase. On Christmas Eve, December 24th, 1984, Fujiya does not throw the money from the roof of the Hanshin department store. 2 days later, on December 26th, a letter arrives at Mainichi newspaper's Chubu headquarters, as well as the Chubu branch of Yomiuri newspaper.
To all the fans of mystery across the country, it's already December. Fast, isn't it? We hold our promises. This will be our last letter this year. We won't send any letters until the 15th of next year. Police fools have to work in on the new year, too. They don't believe us. Heartless job, isn't it? We didn't do anything for Christmas. We didn't defend Kawaguchi. We won't associate with such foolish things. We will rest for the next half month. Supermarkets and stores can rest too. Police, you rest as well. On the 15th of January, it will get busy. I'll let you know one thing. On the second transaction with Marodai, we had a plan on doing it in Kyoto's Fukakusa bus station. The policeman Yamazaki is lying. The police are horrible, aren't they? They were 1 hour late. We saw policemen with maps near the bus station. We cried. We hope both of us have a pleasant new year. We bought a Morinaga candy set. Our kids will eat Morinaga on New Year's Eve. TBS's Morimoto-kun. We watch your show every day at 8:30. Tori-kun, you have a good feeling. What if you switched with Hirano-kun? Everyone wants to see the remaining 2 faces, so we'll show you one. Tell Gotada-kun to send the monster with 21 faces 3 billion yen. You don't have the money? You have a lot in the Japanese bank. I'll go back to being prime minister. Monster with 21 faces.
No postmark, no stamp. Pasted on the letter, before the line, quote, "You don't have the money," is a photo of former Japanese Prime Minister Kakui Tanaka's face, clipped from a February edition of the monthly Penthouse magazine. Tori is Moriyuki Tori, Mainichi newspaper's editorial writer. On December 28th, a letter calling for a deal without police involvement arrives to the president of Faithful Store, Takagi Yoshitomo. This is a business partner of Fujiya. December 30th, a third letter arrives for Fujiya at its president's home in Tokyo, demanding that Fujiya throw 20 million yen, this time from the roof of a building in Ikebukuro, Tokyo, on January 5th. 6 days later, on the day requested, January 5th, 1985, Fujiya once again does not throw money from the roof. The monster does not contact Fujiya again. On the 10th of January 1985, police released the sketch artist drawing of the fox-eyed man suspect to the public. Among many, top Fox-eyed man suspect, 39-year-old Manabu Miyazaki, came onto police radar following the discovery that he was a whistleblower who outed Izaki Glico for illegal waste dumping from 1977 to 1978. That same year, surrounding a Glico labor dispute, an anonymous threatening tape had been sent to Glico's managing executive officer on August 17, 1978, 6 years before the start of the Glico Morinaga case.
どうかお察しください。我々の人の証をさせてもらって、得をされた方から金額の1割5分の謝礼をもらって請求を立てております。
The nearly hour-long tape contained the voice of an elderly man demanding money from Glico, and is highly considered to be related to the Monster with 21 Faces case. As well, for 2 years prior to this tape's arrival, Glico had already been dealing with other anonymous threatening phone calls and letters. Sporting the same short permed hair and wearing the same style of eyeglasses as the fox-eyed man, Manabu Miyazaki was known to have ties to various gang members, with his own father having once been a local Yakuza boss. On June 28, 1984, the day of the first fox-eyed man sighting, Miyazaki claimed to have been attending a trade union conference at a music college in Tokyo. On November 28th, the day of the second sighting, Miyazaki claimed to have been in Tokyo consulting with his lawyer. Despite being their top suspect, police discontinued the investigation into Miyazaki around 1990, unable to dispute his alibis. On January 11th, it was reported for the first time that Fujiya had been a target of the Monster with 21 Faces. On the 16th of January 1985, a letter reached Mainichi, Yomiuri, Sankei, and Asahi newspapers. The letter for Yomiuri newspaper was found at 7:30 p.m. at its Osaka headquarters in the north entrance.
To all the people that are doing their best at Morinaga, like promised, I'll give you New Year's money. 1,000 yen worth packed with acid. It'll sell well. We bought a lot of them, so we have plenty. We can count on the police. Hirano's greeting on New Year was fun. Police were trying to provoke us poorly, so we're really embarrassed. Our friend in the police who was watching Hirano's greeting was really disappointed. Police are being hasty trying to catch us, because if we don't make a move, they won't catch us. Police issued sketches thinking it'll be easier to catch us. We're all handsome. Our faces aren't ugly like that. If you want to draw us, draw nicer. Our image will become bad. The police understand us now. If they catch us and find out about our friend in the police, General Director will have to step off. You don't have to worry. Even if you catch one of us, no one will talk. Yoshino, Shikata, you don't have to be afraid. Fujiya didn't want to let the names out, but police got them out anyway. If we said it before them, it would cause trouble. We have no intentions of saying that. You're more afraid if we throw away the evidence, right? If we threw away the typewriter in the mantle, you can't prove that we were the culprits. It's written in the Constitution that you cannot convict just based on the confession alone. Constitution protects us. Yoshino and Shikata, don't worry. We won't throw away the evidence. Man will do things properly from start until the end. Everyone at Morinaga, rely on the police and do your best. Number one evil, Monster with 21 Faces.
In addition to the letter found at Yomiuri newspaper was a Morinaga 1,000 yen pack that contained hydrocyanic acid. It was discovered by the security manager. Also on the 16th of January, a letter comes into Mainichi, Yomiuri, and Sankei newspapers.
To nationwide fans of the police, it was a good New Year. Our friends all went to the hot springs and had fun. It was enjoyable. Let's do our best this year as well. Police, you also improved. The bank robberies and pickpocketing rates have lowered. If you do your best, you can do it. Yoshino-kun from Port Island, you were cool. Yoshina and Shikata, if you solve number 114, you'll be promoted, right? 2 steps up. Did you watch the TV show, Nice Day, on the 4th? They made a New Year's greeting to us, and questions. We will tell you about it. We're aiming to get 1.3 billion. A man has to complete his work. After we gather this amount, we'll stop harassing food companies. Suzuki from Sound and Communication Department, Do your best at the investigation. Tori-kun from Sunday's Mainichi show says, Morinaga's voices are a voice of a girl and a boy in elementary school, 2nd grade. Marudai's kid is in 1st grade of elementary school. They're not our friends' children. If we used our family, you'd find out. We will give Morinaga New Year's money. Unfortunate for workers, but the president is an idiot. TBS's Morimoto-kun said, but it's not as horrible as in the movie Bicycle Thief by Daisuke, right? 50,000 copies of Jimin newspaper. It was hard, but we knew that from the start. Don't rock the boat. Monster with 21 faces.
Postmarked in Okayama 2 days prior, between 6 p.m. and midnight, the sender was listed as the Monster with 21 Faces. The letter's reference to Port Island is because on the 7th of January, there was a New Year's gathering on Port Island in Kobe. There, Takeshi Yoshino, the general director of Hyogo Police, made an appearance. Quote, Suzuki from Sound and Communication Department refers to Matsumi Suzuki, the director of the Ankyoken Institute for Sound and Communications, while Jimin is a new left-leaning newspaper. Read in part, an article published on January 18, 1985 by the Stars and Stripes reads, Headline, Japanese candy makers receive more warnings from extortionists. Tokyo, AP. An extortionist group that has haunted dozens of Japanese food companies sent packages of poison candies and letters of warning Wednesday to Japanese largest daily, Yomiuri Shimbun, the newspaper reported Thursday. Yomiuri said in a front-page story Thursday that a security guard at its Osaka headquarters found at the entrance a package of Choco Ball and a package of Pakcho laced with lethal doses of sodium cyanide, according to police investigations. The Daily said a typewritten warning was pasted on the outside of the pack. It said, quote, poisoned. You will die if you eat these. Please find 2 poisoned packages in the pack. The man with 21 faces. The paper said police concluded the poisoned candies were from the man with 21 faces because the letters were written on the same kind of typewriter that was used to write 16 previous threatening letters the group had sent to the news media in Osaka. Read in part, another article published on January 18, 1985 reads, Headline, 2 nabbed in Sapporo extortion attempt. Police said Wednesday that they had arrested a couple in Tokyo on charges of trying to extort $400,000 from Sapporo breweries by threatening to poison its product. Terukuni Nakano, 46, former owner of a wastewater disposal company, and his common-law wife, Michiko Hiroshima, 34, threatened in a note dropped off at the brewery president's house on New Year's Day to distribute poisoned beer unless Sapporo paid the money, the Metropolitan Police Agency spokesman said. The pair, identifying themselves as Monster Man X, were arrested Tuesday at a spot where they had instructed the brewery to tie the money to a rope and lower it to a dry riverbed, police said. It was the 3rd time in the past 5 days that Japanese police have apprehended people whom they accused of attempting to extort money by imitating the methods of the Monster with 21 Faces extortionist gang. The other 2 cases involved youths who were not charged. Police also announced Wednesday that they had arrested 4 Japanese men, including 1 known gang member, on charges of lacing 2 bottles of seasoning with lethal doses of sodium cyanide at a Tokyo restaurant last August. Police said they still were investigating the motives in that incident. On January 25th, a letter arrives at Yomiuri newspaper.
Dear fans of the Monster with 21 Faces, we're basically at the same level as the Prime Minister. Channel 8 made a hotline for us. I thought about calling, but there was 5 beautiful girls, so I was too embarrassed. We're a bit modest in a way, but we're men. Since a nice lady asked, let me tell you one thing. We only bully Morinaga because we have the honor of being men. We can't just leave alone the guy that disobeyed us. The current society is filled with feminine men, but we're real men. Sorry to Suzuki, who studies music. I completely forgot to include some house music after Morinaga's recording in the previous letter. House is a girl in 2nd grade. I saw the article in Yomiuri Weekly, but I won't be submitting anything to Yomiuri. I feel bad for Mr. Kawauchi. People like him who do good for the world have a special place in my heart. But he doesn't send money to Africa when I tell him to. I don't like people who are knowledgeless about social duty. We went to the hot springs over New Year's and made a Karuta game. I'll tell you all what the Karuta says for you fans. New Year, Police Karuta. A. The policemen are sighing because people keep calling them stupid. I leave the excuses up to the section chief. U. Wandering around all day but not getting anything done. E. The weather is nice, so I'm going to nap on the roller today. O. I don't want to have a dream about the monster man. It's way too scary. K.A. Gets called dumb by the crows as well. K.I. The chief of department gets hysteric and starts whining. K.U. I have no appetite on X day. K.E. Police are doing good for the world. They're good people. K.O. The public officer says stop that, but he's more scared. S.A. Dear Santa, please give me the monster for my present. S.H.I. Even if I get wrinklier and grow more gray hair, I won't be caught. S.U. We love the police. We just love them. S.E. The petty ones and the cowards will get mad at each other. S.O. Aren't you afraid of the way citizens look at you? I have so much more to this. Let me know if you want the rest. Monster with 21 Faces.
Karuta is a game using the Japanese writing system. On January 26, 1985, a letter arrived at the Yokohama home of Yamada Shigeo, manager of House Food Corporation's Osaka plant.
I kept you waiting. This time it'll be 200 million. On January 29th at 8 p.m., wait at Sharon, a cafe in Toyonaka, and I'll call the Nagoya branch office on January 28th at 8 p.m. If you hear a news chime, say, "This is House Nagoya branch office. Osaka has returned home."
On January 28th at 9 p.m., the monster with 21 faces contacted the Nagoya branch office just as the letter stated, and the house employee repeated the message as ordered. One of the investigators who lost sight of the fox-eyed man in Kyoto Station on June 28th was present and ordered a phone trace, determined to discover the criminal's hideout in Kyoto. This phone call was traced to a public phone in Kyoto Prefecture, in front of a shop called Kubota Toys. Tracing a pulse-type telephone call was done through searching manually operated relay stations at the same time that the call begins. This took a great deal of effort and was only the third time investigators were able to locate the source of a call from the monster. On January 29th, 1985, at 8 o'clock p.m., the day of the exchange, two investigators disguised as house employees brought the 200 million yen and waited in the Toyonaka Cafe, Sharon. Nearly an hour later than promised, at 8:42 p.m., the monster called House's Nagoya branch office. A child's voice could be heard on the instruction tape played, but the investigation headquarters was unable to make it out clearly due to the amount of static. Perhaps because they suspected a trace by the authorities, the monster with 21 faces made no further attempts to retrieve the money. February 2nd, 1985, Yomiuri newspaper receives a letter.
To the editorial department of Weekly Yomiuri, you are annoying. We were working together for some time, so I'll reply to you. We wrote a lot of interesting things. We are the bad guys. We are men. Don't try comparing us to Miura. That guy's acting is poor. Being compared to trash is annoying. We told you to send money to Africa. Write exactly how much you sent. You don't pay, but still you tell us to write a diary. That's no good. We will tell you the continuation of the card game. It's a New Year's police card. TA is Tenoshi, fun, playing with tag monster. CHI is Chiniuru, starving for blood with a police baton crying at night. TSU is Sukazuku, deeply. No matter how many times I see challenge, I get annoyed. TE is Tagamikaku, writing letter. Monster with 21 faces is a handsome man. TO is Tanarigumi, neighborhood association. I want to meet them. NA is Nani Kawanu, to put on an innocent face, but in reality, Kanazawa-kun is annoyed. NI is Ningen, human. Or is it a demon monster with 21 faces? And U is Nuki Porisu, lacking police, forgets about everything, runs away, foolish. And E is Nete, sleep is a dream. When you get up, reality comes. You are neurosis. And O is Nonki, thoughtless. How about catching us already? You'll get scolded. HA is Haragatatsu, get annoyed. Whoever is okay, just catch us already. HI is Higaisha, victim. People will be happy seeing the challenge. FU is Fururuna, shaking. We are the strong police, so we don't shake in fear. HE is Harumeto, helmet. Let's go riot, police. HO is Honma, really. They want to go back to police school. Monster with 21 faces.
Postmarked in Osaka the day prior, between 6 p.m. and midnight, a 60 yen stamp was affixed to the envelope, which listed the sender as Monster with 21 Faces. Mentioned in the line, quote, "But in reality, Kanazawa-kun is annoyed," is the Director General of the Criminal Affairs Bureau, Akio Kanazawa. In the lines, "Don't try comparing us to Miura. That guy's acting is poor. Being compared to trash is annoying." The letter writer is referring to Kazuyoshi Miura, a clothing importer, often traveling from Japan to the United States for business. It was there in Los Angeles, California, on November 18, 1981, where Miura was suspected of killing his 28-year-old wife, Kazumi Miura. According to the suspect, Kazuyoshi Miura, an unknown assailant shot him in the right leg as his wife was shot in the head as the two sat in a car in a downtown parking lot. Wife, Kazumi Miura, was left blind, paralyzed, and in a coma on life support. She was flown back to Japan, where she died almost exactly 1 year later, leaving behind a 13-month-old child. While still in the hospital, Kazuyoshi Miura campaigned against violence in Los Angeles. The incident reinforced Japanese perceptions of the U.S. as a violent country. In 1984, it was revealed that Miura took out a life insurance policy on his wife, worth the equivalent of $1.4 million. As well, an actress claiming to be Miura's lover stated that Miura asked her to kill his wife. No shooter was ever found, and no physical evidence could link Miura to the murder. After nearly going cold, the case was renewed, and Miura was convicted in Japan of murder and sentenced to life in 1994. Though after 4 years, Tokyo's High Court overturned the conviction and sentence due to lack of evidence. In 2003, the United States Supreme Court also acquitted him of the charge. California authorities arrested Miura on the island of Saipan, a commonwealth of the United States in the western Pacific Ocean, on February 22, 2008. Miura and his lawyers fought his extradition to California, who has the death penalty. The battle continued until late September 2008, when the Los Angeles Superior Court dropped the murder charges, but still pursued Miura on conspiracy charges. Dubbed Japan's O.J. Simpson, Miura gave up the extradition battle and was transported to Los Angeles, California, arriving in the early morning of October 10, 2008. That night, Miura was found dead by hanging in his jail cell. On February 5, 1984, the monster sends a letter to House Foods.
Think of your company and stop it with the cheap tricks. I'll ease up on you guys for now. There are other things I need to do.
After that, the monster with 21 faces left House Foods alone. On February 7, 1985, Tako Asahi, president of Toyo Shigyo, headquartered in Naniwa, Osaka, receives a letter. At that time, Tako Asahi was the head of an organization related to Glico called the Koikai and was a valuable business partner that helped provide Glico with packaging materials.
To Asahi, don't be surprised. This is the real deal. Listen to the tape. Don't tell anyone. We're going to send this letter to Katsuhisa. It's no use telling anyone on the phone. They're all wiretapped. When the letter gets there, you better have a talk with Katsuhisa so that he understands. If you don't send the money we agreed on, we'll start all over from the beginning. Glico probably won't give me the money, so you should prepare it for me. Have Glico split it up into separate payments and give it to me in promissory notes.
Postmarked in South Osaka 2 days prior, the sender was listed as Toshio Nakamura, head of the Glico Research Division. At this time, Glico also received a letter. It had been over 7 months since the monster had corresponded with Katsuhisa Izaki.
Katsuhisa, it's been a while. That time in the flood prevention storage house was really interesting, wasn't it? You probably still dream about it. You understand how society is. The world is a cruel place. It doesn't matter if the police shut down your company. Try to catch me. I'm gonna make you give me the 600 million we agreed on. I know you won't give it to me easily. Make Asahi from Toyo Shigyo do it. I sent you a letter. I'm the only one who knows. I'm not sure which one of your friends I'll blackmail next. If I get caught, I'll probably die. Don't tell anyone. Talk about it with Asahi.
Text omitted.
The monster with 21 faces.
Within these threats received on February 7th by Toyo Shigyo and Glico, it was also requested to throw 20 million yen from the observation platform of the Nagoya TV tower the next day, on February 8th. This was supposed to be a reply to the monster, signaling that the larger deal would move forward. Glico consulted with investigation headquarters and decided to ignore the request. It appeared to be the correct move, as the monster with 21 faces never contacted Glico again. However, lucky for Glico, the momentum of the monster pushed forward, and on February 13th, 1985, the day before Valentine's Day, Tokyo and Aichi prefectures saw the discovery of 8 separate sweets laced with cyanide, an attack that was promised by the monster in a letter way back on May 20th, 1984. The chocolates placed in stores by the monster were from the companies Glico, Morinaga, and Fujiya, as well as confectioners Meiji and Lotte. The sweets found all had labels either reading
Poisoned, danger,
or
no poison, safe.
Read in part, an article published on February 13th, 1985 by the Daily News reads, Headline, Japanese gang poisons Valentine candy. Tokyo, UPI. The man with 21 faces threatened to scatter cyanide-laced treats across Japan amid a Valentine's Day candy buying spree. 6 packages marked, quote, "You'll die if you eat this," were found in 2 cities. The gang, which has terrorized the nation for nearly a year and eluded capture despite the largest police dragnet in modern Japanese history, made its warning in a letter to the Mainichi newspaper today. The threat came as police said 6 candy packets with labels marked, quote, "You'll die if you eat this," and signed by the man with 21 faces, had been found in 2 cities. At least 3 were poisoned with cyanide, police said. The discovery came just before Valentine's Day, a Western import heavily promoted by retailers who expect some $150 million in candy sales in the first half of February, according to industry officials. Valentine's Day in Japan has acquired a unique twist, with women customarily buying candy for their male sweethearts, husbands, and bosses. In its latest caper, the gang added 2 more victims to its roster, poisoning products of the well-known Meiji and Lotte brands, but it was not immediately known if the group was attempting to extort money from the firms. Police said 2 packages were found late Thursday in a bathroom of a busy subway station in Tokyo, one at a post office and another in a restaurant in the capital. 2 others were found late Tuesday and today in Nagoya, Japan's 3rd largest city, about 200 miles southwest of Tokyo, police said. In October, the gang turned to the Morinaga Candy Company and scattered marked cyanide-laced Morinaga products in stores, mostly in the Osaka area, 300 miles southwest of Tokyo. No money was paid, but Morinaga products were swept off store shelves throughout Japan. The firm had laid off nearly 500 workers, and recently its president, Akio Matsuzaki, estimated company losses at $120,000 a day. The gang's activities have been a major embarrassment to police. At the height of the search last fall, some 44,000 police, about 1/5 of Japan's force, were mobilized, and officers visited about 3.2 million homes and offices in the Osaka area to ask for the public's help. That same day on the 13th, a letter came into the Nagoya headquarters of Mainichi and Asahi newspapers.
To all confectionary's important people, who is worse, us or you? We're bad, because I'm saying it's no mistake. You don't think you're evil, right? You're deceiving the world with a kind face. If candy sells and the whole world gets diabetes and cavities, you don't mind. Bad for business. What is Valentine's Day? When we were young, there was nothing like that. I never got a chocolate. Who thought of such a stupid thing? Young women are sending chocolates to 5 to 10 people. Everyone's the same as body-selling women. You made them like that. If women have no modesty, it's all over. Where did the woman who displays feminine virtues go? Stupid women give chocolates to rotten women like men. Stupid. If you like men, you should eat a chocolate together and die. We'll give you some acid and help you out. We will leave them with 0.4 grams inside all across the country. You should give an insurance to the people who you gave the chocolate to. Let's go to hell together. Open your eyes, Pico-chan and Poco-chan. Prostitutes chocolate inside the grave with AIDS, syphilis, and gonorrhea. After the 14th, it's safe. Safety sale is a present from us to good kids. Monster with 21 faces.
Postmarked in Nagoya the day prior, between 6 p.m. and midnight, the sender on the envelope was listed as Monster with 21 faces. A 60 yen stamp was affixed. An express delivery stamp was issued, but wasn't paid for. In the line, quote, "Open your eyes, Pico-chan and Poco-chan," these characters of Pico and Poco are mascots of Fujiya. On February 14th, a law called the Special Measures Law on the Prevention of Poisoning Distributed Foods was created by the Liberal Democratic Party. Since the tainted food items placed by the monster were attached with a warning note, the crimes could not be considered attempted murder. Instead, the crime was that of falsification. This new law was created to compensate for this oversight. Now those who have mixed poisons into circulating foods or drinks shall be punished by imprisonment for not more than 10 years or a fine of not more than 300,000 yen. In addition, in the event of death or injury, imprisonment for life. However, due to the ban on retroactive penalties under Article 39 of the Japanese Constitution, this law would not apply to the monster with 21 faces up to this point. Article 39 states that, quote, "No person shall be held criminally liable for an act which was lawful at the time it was committed, or of which he has been acquitted, nor shall he be placed in double jeopardy." As a result, Japanese confectioners began placing various safety seals on their products. This tamper-resistant proofing was among the very first following America's lead after the 1982 Chicago Tylenol murders, a case which began on the morning of September 29, 1982, when 12-year-old Mary Kellerman woke up with a cold and sore throat and took an extra-strength Tylenol capsule. Almost immediately afterward, she collapsed and soon died. The other victims also took Tylenol that day. They were Adam Janis, 27, of Arlington Heights, his brother, Stanley Janis, 25, and Stanley Janis's wife, Teresa, 19, Mary Reiner, 27, of Winfield, Mary McFarland, 31, of Elmhurst, and Paula Prince, 35, of Chicago's near North Side. Eventually, the company recalled 8 million capsules. A total of 75 capsules laced with cyanide were found in 8 different bottles that had been tampered with. 2 of the bottles were found as a result of Johnson & Johnson's recall. Although the 7 killings were never solved, one man, James Lewis, was sentenced in 1984 to 10 years in prison for a $1 million extortion plot connected to the Tylenol poisoning. On the 15th of February, 1985, rumors that the monster had been caught spread through the financial district of Kabutocho in Tokyo. As a result, Glico and Morinaga shares showed price movements ranging from 20 to 55 yen higher than the recent average. On February 20th, 1985, Mainichi, Yomiuri, and Asahi newspapers received a letter written to the National Diet, Japan's bicameral legislature.
To all at the National Diet, we became important too. Because of us, there's a new law. Only 10 years is mild. You have to execute us. And our fakers, execute them too. Hyogo Prefecture and Osaka Prefecture's police have to step off. We left 5 chocolates in Kobe and Osaka on the 13th in the afternoon. 3 of them have poison. Police won't tell you on purpose. In front of Sogo Sanomiya Station, Osaka Tennoji Station building, on the police box in Nanba Walk, in Hankyu Umeda Station and Tokyo Nagoya we wrapped 18 of them. 13 were found. Police found more in Kobe and Osaka but are hiding the fact. A lot of Valentine's chocolates were sold, right? Next year we will prepare poison chocolates 2 weeks in advance and destroy Valentine's Day. You shouldn't be earning money like that. You will see that 1 or 2 small chocolate companies will be destroyed. Tori-kun said that our letter was distasteful. It's only normal, isn't it? Prostitutes and nice talk doesn't mix together. Look at the Women's Weekly magazine. It's horrible. Women who read that kind of stuff give chocolate to men. They are only thinking of deceiving men. Female pigs. Or female monkeys. Smart women won't give out chocolate. World became dark, didn't it? Yasumoto-sensei thinks so too, right? Yasumoto-sensei was talking about Kawauchi on TV last time. If there were pure-hearted teachers like that, we wouldn't have gone bad either. The police are fools, so we won't get caught until next year at least. Everyone at National Diet, do your best and think of a new death sentence. We're cheering for you. Stupid women's enemy. Monster with 21 faces.
Postmarked in Ibaraki the day prior, between 8 a.m. and noon, a 60-yen stamp was affixed to the envelope, which listed the sender as Monster with 21 Faces. Yasumoto-sensei, mentioned in the letter, is Beaton Yasumoto, psychology professor at the Sano Institute of Management. On the 27th of February 1985, a letter written from Morinaga president Akio Matsuzaki arrives at Mainichi, Yomiuri, and Asahi newspapers.
To Matsuzaki, we saw NHK television. Takagi is a good guy. We were really touched by the fact he's protecting his father's grave. We're weak to the other people's emotions. You did well, guys. We like men who have backbone. It seems that you've rehired the part-time ladies. And Nari left too, so we saved our face. We will forgive Morinaga. Supermarkets and department stores, you can sell Morinaga's products. You have guts now. You and Katsuhisa, grow wiser. Even if you make a stupid commercial and sell to supermarkets, you can't rely on them. You have to cherish small candy stores. You must deceive women and children with stupid commercials. Children are angels. Women should be quiet. If women do something stupid on Valentine's next year, we'll strike again. If evil people stop being evil, it's pointless, right? We are thinking about something fun. Kanazawa-kun, do you know what we are planning? Nosaka-kun told us to make a song. We never got praised in school at text writing. We are not the type to make a song, but we made it. More than looking at the flowers, we like fall leaf viewing. Police can't take even one petal. Monster with 21 faces.
There is no postmark. A 60-yen stamp is affixed to the envelope, listing the sender as Monster with 21 Faces. Takagi is Sadeo Takagi, Morinaga's vice president. Inari is Hayachi Inari, Morinaga's counselor. And Nosaka-kun is Akiyuki Nosaka, a writer. With this ceasefire letter letting Morinaga Confectionery off the hook, their stock price returned to the 470 yen range before recovering rapidly. Stock price manipulation had been a prominent theory up to this point, with one idea being that the Monster with 21 Faces criminal group was short-selling the stock of the target company, threatening the company, which lowers the stock price and buyback amount. Then, after buying shares at their cheapest, the Monster would then claim to forgive the company, thus raising the stock price, allowing them to sell for a profit. It has also been said that Morinaga was the target company the entire time, as it has the most issued shares among the companies intimidated, allowing manipulation of their stock market to be done under a larger cloud of activity. In some threatening letters to Glico, it was also noted that certain number figures regarding Glico's financials were information that could only have been known through internal company documents, fueling the theory that the criminal group had ties within Izaki Glico. Next time on The Monster with 21 Faces.
you were waiting for a letter from us, weren't you? Morinaga suffered a ton, huh? I'm so close to fulfilling my dreams. You guys need to pay up, too. It's unfair for me to only take money from big companies and not from the smaller ones. Since you've got a smaller company, I'll decrease your fee to 50 million yen.
This production was brought to you by The Dark. Sound design, score, and letter readings were done by Austin Michael Riley. Narration, research, and information compilation was done by Michael Wellborn. Our executive producer is Nick White. The events in this program are true and took place between 1984 and 1985 in Japan. This presentation of the case provides a timeline of the facts as accurately as possible. The letters by the Monster with 21 Faces criminal group are read in as much entirety as possible with the resources available at the time of making this. The letters, news articles, and information were compiled from various books, websites, videos, and articles. No copyright infringement is intended. A list of sources can be found at themonsterwith21faces.com, as well as a video and photo archive of the case. Apologies for any mispronunciations, errors, or omissions. With the help of listeners like you, this may be corrected. If you have any new or useful information, please send it to us at 21monsterfaces@gmail.com. That's the number 21monsterfaces@gmail.com. This project is the product of intrigue and research over nearly 15 years. It is provided for your curiosity at no cost, though if you appreciate the work, a donation is welcome and can be given at themonsterwith21faces.com. For more art by The Dark, visit us at darkart.com. That's DARQ art.com.